in Stockholm, not Rome. So don't fly no drone. People of the world, if you have no hope, you better beware of the goat, because it's whoopa doopa doop doop.
The elephant in the room, what a lot of Western climate diplomats tell me is that leaders like yourself also carry a responsibility. Why are vulnerable countries still so debt-stricken? Why is there still corruption? What is your response to that?
You really want me to answer you?
I do.
Okay. Why is it that every time we talk about countries from the South, the first allegation is corruption? Last time I checked, in the USA and the UK and Europe, they're riddled with corruption, but nobody says that they're not capable of achieving their objectives because of corruption. Why is it that we're not talking about the fact that these countries became independent, having allowed those countries that colonized them to extract significant portions of their wealth, such that we had no proper housing, no proper education, no proper healthcare systems, no proper legal systems, no proper across the whole stream, and certainly nothing to do with building social capital like community development and cultural enterprises. And what has happened is therefore that we have spent the time since independence trying to give our people what the global north has taken for granted and has supported by the extrication of centuries of wealth to give their people out of our blood, sweat and tears. Now, when our blood, sweat and tears finances the Industrial Revolution, and the Industrial Revolution then causes the climate crisis, and then I have to pay for the consequences of the climate crisis because of the Industrial Revolution financed by our blood, sweat and tears, then I think they have no moral authority to tell me anything about the financing of the climate or about why we don't have enough.
Is it anger over this that fuels your energy?
Anger? Absolutely not. Unfairness, lack of justice. They're not angry. I'm just disappointed that humankind still wants to believe that there's one world for a set of people and another world for another.
I was going to bring up the United States because, of course, the Caribbean is America's backyard. I mean, from Cuba, closest
Well, we like to say neighbourhood because they might get the wrong impression with backyard.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I was using that. Yes, true. Okay. You're in America's neighbourhood because at its closest point, it's only 70 kilometres from Cuba to the United States. 7 military US bases are here in the Caribbean. But people are beginning to wonder whether you're looking further east. And we had a question on social media, Prime Minister, which says, I honestly would like to know why we in Barbados are so ingratiated with China. Why are we in so deep with China? So are you swapping one superpower for another?
Well, once again, I regret that the person who asked the question doesn't know our history. In 1977, Barbados established relations with the People's Republic of China. This is 44 years ago. And therefore, to suggest that we are now seeking to ingratiate ourselves with China means that you don't understand where we've come from or what we're doing. Any country that lives in this world today, to exist in this world, ought to have relations with every country. And China is clearly a global power. And for us not to have a relationship with China, even if we didn't have one 47 years ago, would be foolish.
But you've been very complimentary about China. You had a phone conversation with President Xi Jinping recently. You said this is all about strengthening the relationship with China. In 2019, the government signed up to the BRI, the big infrastructure projects and so on. And some people are suspicious. They think that China wants to buy the family silver.
Well, let's put it this way. I've also been very complimentary of the Americans and the British and the Canadians. So that for me not to be complimentary of China seems unusual. And similarly, for persons who believe that because we want to be friendly with China means that we are a pawn, tells us what they think about us in the first place. Because we are capable of being, as our first Prime Minister said, friends of all and satellites of none.
But it's not just Barbados that's moving closer to China, it's the whole of the Caribbean. I mean,
it's the whole
investment
world.
from China has gone up many folds.
But so is the whole world. If I look correctly, I think the Chinese hold a large percentage of assets within the United States of America and a large amount of their treasuries as well. So for you to focus on the Caribbean or Africa with China without recognizing the role that China is playing in Europe or in the North Atlantic countries is a bit disingenuous and really reflects more that we are seen as pawns, regrettably, rather than countries with equal capacity to determine our destiny and to be part and parcel of that global conversation to fight the global issues of the day like climate and the pandemic.
All right, well, that's put me in my place, hasn't
No,
it?
not at
Prime
all,
Minister
Zena.
Mia Mottley. Thank you.
Yes, I mean that. Improviser. When I hear to get you wiser. Man, I'm gonna give my thoughts now. I know you might be very, very confused the way I started my video with the intro. When I say the GOAT, very well defeated. You know, this is the kind of video I want to do. Now you see, let me talk about journalism. I'm not a journalist, but I'm a journalist because I do research. I read a lot. You understand? To be a journalist, you cannot be educated by no one. You have to read. You have to do wall search. You know, it's very deep. You know, if you want to be a good journalist, you got to be a freelance journalist. You cannot work for the BBC and work for the Swedish newspaper and all these things and call yourself a reporter. Mia Mottley from Barbados, I call her the GOAT. The GOAT of all presidents and prime ministers put together in the whole wide world. Most brilliant female mind to me in my generation. I call her my sister. She is from Africa. She knows that. And you know, this is why I love to, as I said, we gotta educate each other. You know what I mean? You understand? We got to listen to each other, especially when those who have the knowledge. Because you don't need to go to college to achieve certain knowledge. Because this woman could be your college if you want knowledge. You see? And she is not scared to speak out. Now, what did you see there with the two people that interviewing her? She was not angry. And that woman there, the Swedish woman, that was say Swedish people open your ears and eyes wide. Because that's an embarrassing thing, right? You're messing with a GOAT. You see? Not because you feel you have a mic, you could go and sit and ask people stupid questions, right? The woman, the dark woman from BBC there, that one from who was interviewing her, you can see she's willing to learn. And you can see Miss Motley, her sister Motley, you know what I mean? She's willing to teach her something and she's willing to learn. But the Swede now, she act like, oh, they tell her that. Well, nobody have to tell you. You have to know. You have to do your research. If you want to be a journalist, you have to read. You got to find out what's going on in the world. Sit down home, take out a book, read, because we have the internet now. So you don't need that college to get that knowledge. Because if they educate you, that's the difference about working on all these, medias, all these, companies, they call them the BBC and the CNN. You cannot say what you want. You see, because they educate you. You are there to come to try to disrupt. You see? But don't mess with the GOAT. She is the GOAT. Not a goat. The GOAT mean the best. You see? So she could big up her chest. And I go big up she chest for her. Now I go in the kitchen, and when I go and cook that thing there, I cook in a real nice thing. And I will dedicate that dish. That's my wish to the GOAT of Barbados. Africa, I love you. Africa really, really know who this woman is. But I find we in the Caribbean, we lapsing a lot. I don't see you YouTubers. I ain't seen no one creating a content in the Caribbean. Yeah, that's a brother, I recently saw him, I think he's from Barbados, He have a lot of love for Dickan too. I'm coming for Dickan too, That Dickan is a brilliant mind. The Grenada Prime Minister. You see, we have it. My dear people, I'm going in the love kitchen. And don't forget I ain't cooking no chicken. I will cook a nice dish and I will make me wish and dedicate it to the goat. Dope, dope. I love it. My dear people, I am the improviser. See me and love. I come from above. So here it is. I will fly like a dove. I'm making a medicine seasoning. You know, with enough garlic, salt, thyme, and oil. Right? And that one I'm making there, that you could put it in salad. You know what I mean? You could put it in your food. You understand? You could put it in some, you know what I mean? In some water and then, you know, boil it up, you know, like before everything get corrupt. Yeah, see, that's a timian. Some timian, let's say, like svenska, you know, timian. Thyme. Then I will put a little grind clove. Just, not I ain't junging it, I ain't over putting it. Because the main thing is the garlic. You see that little salt and thing is just to kind, to tie it up and you know what I mean. Cause that will last long, no problem. That's garlic. And I didn't have olive oil today. But it's okay, That oil could do it well. You know what I mean? Yeah, shake it well. As you see when you're taking your medicine, what the doctor said, hey, shake it well. You know what I mean? I have to really crush it up and bust it up. You know what I mean? Make it nice it up. Yes, I. Yeah. I was going to say one thing before I jump in. You see that lady that was talking there? That Swedish reporter. You hear? She didn't understand nothing. That's what I tell you. She has no understanding what the goat was telling her there. That's why the first thing she could jump and say, oh, what did she say? Are you angry? No, angry for what? The woman wasn't angry. Edward, på svenska. I heard that a lot. 36 years living in Sweden. That's a famous quote. When people don't understand and you defeat them. So they always use this. Edward. That means, are you angry? No, no, no. She said, no, 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 no. I'm disappointed. You understand? Now, you see that they are going on there? When people making a punch, are using the blender. You know what it does? They blend and blend and blend and wash it. I just scrap it down to bowl. You know what I mean? Take out everything. Clean it up nice. Just like in the land of spice. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you do it nice. Even twice. And don't put ice. Lord, my dear people. I love all this so much. Hey, yo! My brother. Joy Grant. Pick up the thing again. Hit them the journalist style all the while. Yeah, because I want to see more creators, more content creators. Find something, my dear people. You know what I mean? Not everyone can do it, but what I'm saying, when we have a great voice, you should really recognize that. Now, see Ital? A real Ital I'm making, a real sweet, nice Ital with some seasoned salmon, like diamond. And I will cook some lentil peas, with some jasmine rice. You know what I mean? And I might even cook it twice. Because when it's nice, that's how I do, cook it twice. And I will put in some coconut. Clico, clico, clico. You know what I mean? That is my butter. I don't use butter. You understand? It's not a butter, man. You know what I mean? It's a coconut clico, man. If I want some fat. Rat-a-tat. I don't always use coconut because I said before, see that? And I boil the sweet potato and the potato separate. That's great. See that ital there? That's for the goat. I dedicating this ital to the goat. You know what I mean? That's the goat. For the goat. And then, nice rice. Yes, I. Oh, God, my dear people. That ital is sweet, According to them Nigerian, it's sweet. You know them Nigerian when they say it's sweet, it means it's nice. I like that African style all the while. Yeah, my dear people. I love you all. I love you so much. That's why I say you people, right? Keep checking out the video. Make sure you show the love. Check out the page, Mr. Do It Yourself. And don't forget the channel, Cook No Vex. Because that was seen. When I cooking, I'm vexing. When I talking, I'm vexing. It's pure love. Only love. Constructiveness. No negativeness. Just pure goodness, lovingness of God.